bench press. So I'm going to go very quickly through this. This is just the basics. So number one, make sure it's the right height for you. So we shouldn't be starting with our arms so bent, that sounds like it's too low. And we don't want our arms fully locked, that sounds like it's too high. We kind of want in the middle, somewhere with a slight bend in the elbow so we can unrack it. The second thing is when you set yourself up on the bench and I'm lying down, I want the bar kind of roughly over my eyeballs, so it should kind of dissect me if I'm looking down onto myself at the eyeballs. That just means when we unrack it, we're likely going to clear what's called the J hooks. Next thing is establishing where our hands want to be. So normally where we get people to start is where roughly we're going to see a vertical forearm. So elbow is going to stay over the wrist, or wrist over the elbow, sorry, when we're pressing. Later down the line you might find you want to adjust, go a bit wider, go a bit narrower, but that's a good place to start. The other things I want you to think about is just keeping your feet flat. Often when people kind of put in a fair bit of effort and they're new to the bench, you might see their feet lift one or two at a time sometimes, so make sure your feet stay planted. That's all we're going to think about today. Like I said, this is the basics. So I've got it at the right height for myself. I'm going to go middle finger to these bands, so find a landmark that's going to suit you. And hopefully you should see a somewhat vertical forearm. Because I've gone a little bit wider just for my own personal preference, you might not see it as vertical as I might suggest you do if you're starting out. Eyeballs under the bar, unwrap, straight arms to begin. We're coming down just to about sternum level, and then we're going to press over the shoulders. I will show this on the side. Sternum over the shoulders. Once I've finished, coming back and down. So there is a subtle diagonal line that I'm going to be drawing. Like I said, I'm going to show you on the side in a second. So on the side, hopefully you just see a subtle diagonal line. Like I said, we're coming down to the sternum, we're finishing over the shoulders, so we are having some horizontal movement. The way I like to think of this is, really we're going for the highest point in the chest. So for some people it is the sternum, for some people it's a little bit higher, but typically the sternum is the best spot to go, and then we work it out from there afterwards. So once again, get yourself in position. I've got my landmarks for me. Find your landmarks in terms of hands where they go on the bar, making sure eyeballs are roughly underneath the bar. Unwrap, straight arms to begin. I'm over my shoulders. Now I'm coming down to my sternum, touch, back up over the shoulders. So hopefully here you can see I'm doing a bit of a diagonal path. Once I finish straight arms, come straight back and then down. And that is bench press.